Hey there VCE HHD students, my name's Andy, I'm a VCE Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video we're going to look at part 1 of how could I structure my HHD study this year to maximise my results. So if you haven't heard of the Health Resources Hub before, well, welcome to 2024. There's a range of opportunities available for both students and teachers associated with the Health Resources Hub. And so we've got a Health Resources Hub YouTube channel, and throughout the year this year, during term time, there'll be new content videos coming out each week across units 1 to 4. So you can subscribe with the button in the bottom corner of the video there so you don't miss out on those. And there'll also be SAC and exam tips coming out across the year. Our social media will also give you alerts to those videos coming out as well as SAC and exam tips, so you can follow us there on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook. There's also a range of opportunities available at our website for students and teachers. So if you head to the hrh.net.au, you can have a look at those. And if you've got any questions or queries, you can always send us an email at info@thehrh.net.au. So in part 1 of this video here, we're going to look at some of the ways in which you might like to structure your HHD study this year. And so I've worked with a range of high-performing students across my career, whether that be through teaching them or working with them through tutoring. And so these are some of the pieces of wisdom that I've tried to impart on them, but also some things that I've learned from them along the way about how they were successful, when they studied HHD. So the first point there is setting aside some time each week to read your textbook. Now, obviously your textbook is quite a long document, and so you might have a physical version or an electronic version. And to get through it, in the whole year, you're going to need to set aside probably at least an hour every week to read your textbook. And I know that sounds like quite a bit of time, but I think it will pay benefits for you. Now, the first point there says your teacher can't cover every single point in the textbook when they're teaching you. There's just not enough time to cover everything that's in, those textbooks, as well as do all of the other various things that you're required to do, such as practice questions, etc. in class. And so reading it can give you an edge over other students. You might think, oh, I've already got, a PowerPoint from my teacher or a set of notes, that I'll be working with this year, but they're really a summary. And so often they only give a couple of examples, of different aspects of the course. But your textbook goes into a lot more detail. And so if you've read that textbook, you'll have there in your mind some additional examples that are available should the ones that perhaps are in your summary notes or your PowerPoint from class, not be appropriate for a question that might come up in the SAC or an assessment on the exam. So not only that, it gives you a broader context, for the aspects of the course, which can help you to understand and make connections between different parts of the course. So what I would have is I'd have a physical or electronic notepad open beside you as you're reading the textbook each week, and I'd be noting down any questions that you might have, regarding the content or connections between part of the course that you can ask your teacher at a later point. Also, I know a lot of students these days through social media, might buy a set of notes because there's a past student that said, I achieved 45 plus, in HHD using this set of notes, and that's all you'll need, But they definitely, are not likely to go into the required detail that you will need, as you cover the course throughout the year. So definitely reading your textbook can help to give you that additional, context and additional knowledge that those notes, don't have. And so that kind of links into my second point there, which is I would set some aside time each week, to write or organize your own notes. And that's because you're more likely, to deeply engage with the course if you're making your own set of notes, or I guess you could be organizing, a set of notes that may have come from your teacher or one of these past students that might have passed them on to you, because that means that you're more likely to need to understand, the content in a deeper way if you're writing them or organizing them yourself, rather than just reading someone else's notes that worked for them. So I'm going to do another video in the coming weeks on how you can set up your own set of notes to make sure that you're maximizing, the benefits from writing your own set of notes. So stay tuned for that. The third point there is to set aside some time each week to complete practice questions, and not just the day or the night before a SAC or an assessment. So remember, in the HHD study design, there's not only the key knowledge, but there's also the key skills. And so completing practice questions is your chance to put the knowledge or the information that you're learning into practice, And so using those key skills, such as evaluate or discuss or analyze. So setting some time each week to complete practice questions, and often you can get these from your teacher, okay, or there might be some in your textbook you can use, will give you that chance to not only practice putting that into action, but getting some feedback about how you're going and whether or not you're likely to achieve marks, okay, with such questions. And then the last point there is to set aside some time each week or fortnight to meet up with other students in your class. And so the reason why I think this could be useful is it gives you a chance to quiz, okay, one another on the content you've covered so far, and also practice explaining that content to one another. And so explaining information to another person, okay, is a really good way of making a self-assessment on whether or not you know it well enough. If you can easily explain something to somebody else, then it's probably really in your memory and you really understand it properly. So not only that, but making a time to meet up with other students, okay, makes you accountable for staying on top of the content. Sometimes students just think, okay, I'll catch up, okay, during the holidays or just before the next SAC with everything we've covered in class. But if you make a regular time with other students, that can help to keep you accountable for staying on top of the content. Okay, so obviously there is a lot of time that's required to do each of these things each week. So in the next video, we're going to talk about, well, how can you make sure that you can fit all of this in? So look out for that next video coming up, part 2, later this week. And as a reminder, here are the different ways that you can engage with the Health Resources Hub. Okay, thank you so much.